I will be showing you how pros AWP Mirage CT side from opening peaks to rotations. By the end of this video, you will be ready to be a tier 1 AWPer. Whether you're playing Premier and Face It or competitive league matches, this guide provides valuable information to help you become a better AWPer on Mirage CT. Now before I break this down, here's a word from today's sponsor, Skins Monkey. They are one of the best and easy to use CS2 trading sites. You can instantly switch out your skins you don't want by selecting them, and then pick out the new skins you do want that are so much nicer. You can also buy skins with a 35% deposit bonus using code NART. Click my link below in the description to get a free $5 on your trade. Where you start off first when AWPing on the CT side Mirage depends a lot on your spawn. If you have the mid spawn, a lot of times you will be starting towards window. When you go for this mid peak, make sure you jump on top of the bench so it makes it hard for the T's to hit you. And then if the T's throw a mid smoke or window smoke, you want to go ahead and counter that with a top box Molotov. This will delay the T's mid control, but with the new meta top mid smoke, just be careful the T's can go behind the smoke instead of going behind the boxes if the boxes are Molotoved out. From the competitive scene, there's no point in staying window after the initial peak because it will be smoked out, so unless you have an HE nade to break the smoke, you should rotate to a different position. Here we see Torzi breaking the instant window smoke. Make sure you learn the lineup, and it is a crouch right click jump throw. You'll see in the competitive scene just now that the T's will throw a top mid smoke with a window smoke because if the CTs choose to break the window smoke, they have cover. Here we see ZywOo doing so, however VP don't have a top mid smoke. Right after that smoke break peak, you see ZywOo instantly rotating out because the smoke is going to come back up, so he would be useless if he just stayed there. Let's take some of the things that we've learned so far and walk you through a round where m0NESY is starting mid, gets smoked out instantly, so he sets up to throw a top mid box Molotov, and he's going to throw a smoke break. This is a different smoke break than the last one because it is going to break the deeper smoke, and it also allows you to peek mid faster than the other one. In the pro scene, your teammate will sometimes drop you a Molotov inside window, so you could throw another Molotov to help them out. If you don't want to instantly rotate and you have your teammates fighting for mid, you can support them with the utility that you still have, so whether that be a flash or that second Molotov that was dropped to m0NESY, he could have used it for the boxes again. Anytime you're peeking mid, whether that be at the start of the round or you're breaking the smoke then peeking, always have a teammate flashing mid for you. That will blind any T's at the top mid. The other common mid smoke break that you will be using as an AWPer is breaking the top mid smoke. So if the T's aren't smoking off window, you can go ahead and break this top mid smoke if you choose to do so. Sometimes you want to hold on to your HE nade and not use it for mid because you'll see that mouse are going to be executing A with right side A smokes, and m0NESY does not have a nade to break the smokes. You don't want to stay window too long because when T's come out mid, they're most likely going to smoke off window. So when T's execute A, sometimes they don't smoke off CT, so it's a really good rotate if you go towards CT and take it afterwards. A good way to know when you could save your nade is if you have a teammate getting information mid. So we see Spinks jumping out towards short in cat, and he spots nobody mid, so that allows ZywOo to save his nade. ZywOo does Molotov the top mid boxes. You'll see this nade comes in handy as the T's are executing A, so ZywOo was able to break open that smoke and get a free frag. ZywOo rotates to CT as there's no purpose of him staying towards jungle after that smoke break because the smoke will come back up, and it's much easier for AWPers to retake from ticket and CT versus coming from jungle. One play m0NESY likes to use when he's rotating from window to jungle, he does this jump inside the doorway. That is because there might be a T-side AWPer holding him from that slight crack inside Palace. By jumping like this, it makes it very hard for that AWPer to hit him, as well as he gets a lot of information by doing so safely. Look at this second frag that m0NESY gets. He's super fast, super flicky, super flashy. He is him. After starting window, when you rotate out after the initial peak and the initial contact and first phase, you don't always have to rotate to A and B. You can start towards top con, stairs, and jungle area. The reason why you don't see AWPers play this position much, whether that be to top con, connectors, stairs, around this general area, is because it's very hard for AWPers to hold this position. It's a very dangerous position for AWPers to hold from because the top con smoke puts the AWPer in a very bad predicament because T's can lurk through the smoke and you're forced to play with an AWP up close. This is not a safe position for your AWPer to be in. There's so much going on and the threat level comes from multiple different angles and positions. Here and there, it's okay to play this position because you always want to be unpredictable to where you are. Work with your teammates and you'll be fine. So we see ZywOo holding underpass. He has Apex holding his right side mid. With the best mid spawn, one way you can counter the window smoke is to self-boost yourself inside ladder. Once you get inside ladder, you're going to hold the cross to second Dell plan, or even if the T is crossed towards bottom ramp. Most of the time when you do this fast ladder jump, you only have one player towards B because you as the AWPer can support B right away since you're towards short. Knowing that ZywOo was just towards mid, the Ts will not go ahead and come out mid because the AWP is there. So that's why you see ZywOo set up into a different position as he rotates out. And this is another type of fast mid peek that you could do, the jumping fast short or cat, to avoid the window smoke. If you go for this opening peek, you need to have your teammate watch your underpass, which he has a teammate inside connector do so, and he is aware that the Ts can swing right up the smoke. Again, since Wonderful is towards short, there is only one B player, which is Alexi B, because Wonderful can be here to assist. If you do go for this opening pick and you are playing competitive, you can go ahead and jiggle peek like Wonderful does here. And when he looks into the wall, he's playing anti-flash because most of the time mid-round, if the Ts do decide to go late mid, they'll throw a flash. That move Wonderful did with the jiggle peek into the wall playing anti-flash is a very high level play in higher pro games, so you wouldn't have to worry about it in your Premier Face It. Next, let's move over to the best A spawns. What you could do with this spawn is you could rush towards connector to peek top mid. Wonderful throws a bottom con smoke, and I'll explain the purpose of the smoke later on, but we see his teammate throwing a nade to break the smoke for him, which opens up that frag. Remember not to forget to let your teammate know that they should be throwing a flash for you over connector towards mid, just like how I showed earlier for window. Let's go over the purpose of that bottom con smoke. Wonderful is going to do the same play with the best A spawn. He's going to throw this bottom con smoke, but it hits his teammate, and you'll see that he's going to come out. Just imagine the smoke was supposed to be closer towards bottom con, and the smoke is going to allow him to get cover in order to stay to hold on underpass, which opens up this round. After getting the opening pick, the smoke allows him to safely fall back to connector. The T sometimes smoke bottom con because the smoke fully covers up connector to where the CTs can't peek. So if you do have an HE nade, you can break open the smoke. Let me show you around where the bottom con smoke lands correctly. Now, when you're making this play, guys, make sure you have a teammate watching your mid. Although the smoke gives you cover, you just don't want any Ts to push up on you. But here, Wonderful gets noticed that somebody crossed the second Dell plan, so he takes that player out and then falls back safely afterwards. I won't be covering the rotations here as it is the same as I discussed earlier. The AWP has a lot of freedom, so communicate with your teammates with where you want to rotate next and what your setup should be. Besides the wonderful short angle that I showed earlier to watch mid, especially for a delayed mid control, you could hold it from connector. Again, like we talked about before, just make sure you have a teammate watching your underpass as you hold from this position and angle. Let's look at a common peek that pro AWPers do on the CT side, and that's peeking ramp after they smoke off Palace. You could do this right away, or you could do this into the early to mid round as we see ZywOo do here. The Palace smoke obviously gives you cover to go on top of the stairs to hold ramp. Be careful about the timing of the Palace smoke, because if you consistently throw this smoke when you want to peek ramp, and the Ts figure out an anti-strat you, they can just walk out Palace as we see Nico do here. G2 did their homework. They know that if Palace is smoked off early on, that means Shiro is holding ramp and you can easily walk out and get a free frag onto him. As an AWPer, you need to know this smoke, which is the Palace smoke from this back right corner, aim at the bottom right of the window, jump throw. This smoke helps out your A player a lot. Sometimes you will need to start towards ticket because the Ts might want to execute A early on. This is your bread and butter position to hold ramp. A lot of times the Ts might not smoke off CT and only do right side A smokes, which then this is so free for you to get a frag. The reason why you see Wonderful pushing through the smoke to get behind triple after shooting and getting that first frag is that he doesn't want to be locked out behind the smoke, and he's helping out his teammate that is still alive towards the balcony and dark area. Another thing why AWPers like to go behind triple after their first shot from ticket is because they can get there pretty safely as they won't be seen from the Ts towards ramp. Look at the confidence that Mozzie has in this clip. He's looking for these peaks, continuously changes his angles. When playing towards ticket, you have to be aware of what positions that you're vulnerable from. So if you're watching ramp and you have a teammate that is watching your Palace or it's smoked out, and then also you have a teammate maybe towards jungle watching the window boost or even pushing up connector from the Ts. Bit pushes in, clears out Palace, so he's gonna come back, he smokes out ramp, which enables Wonderful to be able to watch towards connector. For your A teammates, when they smoke off ramp, they can play this off angle towards Tetris to watch towards Palace as well as ramp enabling your AWPer to keep their eyes only on connector. Astralis comes out ramp as well as Palace, so Wonderful has to change his direction here. Gets that frag, falls back, throws a flash, throws nades to delay Astralis, and he's re-peeking. The reason why he's doing this is because Astralis does not have money in this round for an AWP. That means you can peek and take these favorable duels for yourself, knowing that the T side does not have an AWP to punish you. One very important smoke that you need to know when you're playing Ticket, whether if you're an AWP or an A anchor, is the defensive CT A smoke. There's a number of different ways to throw this smoke. We see Torsy throwing it towards the left wall. You could throw it over Ticket. So there's a number of ways that you could also use the smoke. So we see Torsy jumping on top of Ticket to see over the smoke. The smoke gives you cover to allow you to go aggressive if you want to as well, or if you want to play back and wait for your teammates, as the smoke is going to defer and put a lot of pressure onto the T's to keep their eyes in front of the smoke in case any of the CTs push out of Ticket. The smoke blocks off ramp in case there's an AWPer posted up on you, which gives you the freedom to move away from Ticket. One role of the A anchor is to stay alive as long as you can for your teammates to rotate in. Why I'm saying this is because if you're playing Ticket and you're playing passive and defensively, you need to do that as well. So if you die Ticket early on, this will open up the A site very easily for the T's and for them to even take Ticket control, which makes it very hard for the post-plant retake. This retake from Na'Vi was only possible due to the fact that Wonderful was a live Ticket. If you play competitively, then you will know that the T's take mid control by smoking off top con, and if you're playing towards Ticket, you have an HE nade. Go ahead and break open the smoke and you might catch a good timing onto the T's as they might be walking up connector. Always keep in the back of your head when you see the top con smoke, just note the T's can lurk towards stairs or they can lurk towards the other side towards jungle through the smoke. One play that you could do when you're on top of Ticket, as we see Device does here after missing this first shot, is that he is going to back up and he's going to jump to see over the wall. This allows him to get free information mid very safe because any T's holding from catwalk with an AWP will not be able to spot him. Moving away from CT and Ticket, let's talk about holding connector. You could do so with a very strong position from behind default box. This is such a strong angle to hold connector, and T's have a hard time clearing it when they come up connector. This position is vulnerable to the walkouts from Palace, so make sure you have a teammate watching so. In this round we have Bit doing so from front ramp as he has it smoked off and he's playing the off angle towards Tetris. When his ramp smoke starts to fade, he can play towards Sandwich and here and there peek towards Palace. Besides that, you also should have a teammate towards jungle or window watching the boost so you don't get blindsided if the T's do decide to boost inside window and they come and peek you from the jungle side. I don't have a clip of this, but let's just say the T's come out ramp and Wonderful is in this position and he has a smoke still. He can throw a smoke right in the middle of sight and it's going to give him a defensive mid-sight smoke that allows him a lot of cover and space to move around. Depending on where the T's are coming from, you could use this smoke in a different number of ways. It lands mid-sight and it gives you the ability to jump on firebox, fall back to triple, fall back to CT. This is a defensive smoke commonly used by Zaiwu when he is playing towards default with an AWP. Let's move over towards B. So if your B teammate has the best mid B spawn, they can go ahead and do this fast boost for you so they can set you up to peek apps very fast. That B player can instantly rotate towards A, which is a very common CT setup on Mirage in the pro scene. 4 towards A, leaving your AWPer solo towards B. Your AWPers are usually good for 1, and now in this round, Mouse are going to pinch and split B, and Monsi gets 1, falls back. As he does so, he gets another. Another common pro AWP peek towards apartments on the B site is jumping on the edge of the van. The reason why this position and angle is strong is because your head is only shown. Typically after that first shot, you're going to fall back into a different spot and position as the T's are possibly trying to run you down. Let's take a look at Wonderful's POV. So his teammate tries to flash Zaiwu off the angle but was unsuccessful. So now you can AWP like the pros on Mirage CT side, but what about the T side? I will make an AWP Mirage T side guide once this video reaches 2,000 likes, so smash that like button and subscribe to the channel as I will be putting out more pro guides. Let me know in the comments what map position and you want to see next, and I will see y'all in the next one.